Okay, every week we wait and see if this is going to launch. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Cronecast at the Rising Moon. This is Elaine, and this is the Spirit Guide Weekly for the date range of May 10th through May 16th. Again, this is the Spirit Guide Weekly for May 10th through May 16th. This is a pick a card with 4 piles. Each candle is anointed with a different form of conjure oil. We're going to take a moment, see which candle calls out to you. I don't go over which candle conjure oil is on which candle until the time of your reading, because I don't like it to influence your decision. And again, I ask that you don't pick my piles based on, I always pick number 1 or 2 or 3. Concentrate, see which one calls out to you. In my collective, if you are in my collective, you are almost certainly a healer. You are almost certainly a developing psychic. You can likely do magic. You can manifest. I have a small collective, but we have a tendency to be a little bit mighty. So open up your third eye, see which one calls out to you. That is the message that you are most meant to receive. Remember that these messages manifest over the course of about 1 to 4 weeks, and I have never been able to figure out why that happens to be. It just happens to be the case with how they manifest. There's going to be the traditional sailing backwards with a slightly seasick motion as we do this, and some bad sound. Okay, and we're back. Okay, and maybe I'll have to adjust the camera angle, maybe I won't. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. All right, so hopefully you've had time to pick your piles. I'm going to go ahead and start extinguishing the candles in my traditional housekeeping. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to hit that like button. It does help my channel. I will be editing in timestamps after the broadcast. It is going to be another one of those weeks where I'm not sure I'm going to get to it right away. If I don't, know that I will get to it as soon as possible, but it may take up to 3 hours, okay? All right. Today's candles are metallic purple and metallic green. Metal is very good for attracting. And then purple is one of the colors for healing, for domination. It is also one of the colors for the crown chakra. And then green is very good for growth, for prosperity, for money. There we go. All right, we've got your oracle cards all selected. Your spread is being brought to you by the Muse Tarot. Let's see what's going on this week. Had a funky week. A lot of demon removal consults. Not sure what's going on out there. So, hey, pile number 1, your candle is purple. Again, that is a domination color. It's a healing color. It's about a personal power as well. And your candle is new love. Let's see what might be coming into being for pile number 1. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for everybody. Oh, and for once, my candle album. My angle's good. All right. Oh, sudden wealth. We'll take it. That is from one of the Kipper oracles. I actually really like that deck. When you're using it in a spread, you can interpret sudden wealth as, you know, good fortune, happy occurrences, parties, all sorts of things. In this instance, we'll see what it's relating to. This is from a new to me oracle deck. The Gateway Oracle, accepting what is. I accept and embrace my inner majesty. Interesting. Personal power, going exceptionally well with the color purple. One of the hardest things for particularly empathic people to believe is that they are powerful and they are who they are for a reason. As I'm always saying here, I'm at variance with the spiritual community just a little bit because I don't believe that we're here to transcend this experience. I believe that we are here to tap into the divine power that is available to us and that we are meant to be rooted very firmly in this reality and making a difference in it. But again, that might be because I have this small and yet powerful collective who are being called to their life's purpose. If you are drawn to me as a reader, you are likely being called to your life's purpose. I have observer. With breathe, okay. Something that you're supposed to not act upon quite yet. Fire, the element of fire heralds new life, renewed passion, and positive transformation. Okay, so that's the Archangel Uriel. It's also actions being taken. It has a tendency to be the suit of wands. I have present power. It's 2 cards of personal power. Conflict, I'm going to do conflict, personal power. You might be conflicted within, again, about understanding that there is that whole we are who we are for a reason can be very, very difficult to accept when you've had such difficult and traumatic seasons. One of the things that happens during a spiritual awakening, which as you are called to your life's purpose, you have likely undergone a spiritual awakening, is that period of great connection that can be followed by frustration and loss and disconnect and feeling abandoned and alone and as if nothing is coming to you. And luckily, that is the last stage before like there's peace, there's bliss, and there's a feeling of purpose and rightness within your life. And hopefully that's going to be over soon. Oh, atonement. This is almost like this is the dark shadows, the dark mirror. It is the shadow work deck that I use. Atonement. Guilt over things that are past. Listen, guilt it's a very useless emotion. However, understanding and taking responsibility for what you may have done, and we all err, we all make mistakes. We're all a work in progress. Perhaps as you didn't know better, you didn't do better. Try to forgive yourself, but also remember you can make a difference with different actions going forward. And if there is somebody that you need to make amends towards, then that's a very good idea. Patience is a virtue. It is also peace. It is also it's basically the antidote to a lot of things that trouble us, things like anxiety and fear and that constant what's coming next, is knowing that you have your own personal power. It is here to counteract whatever comes towards you, and that you are the most important element in your life. Not another person, not another job, not something that will come to you. You make all happen. Remember, you are powerful. Keep your commitments, okie dokie. And then blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being. This is true. Now listen, this card can be a little bit iffy, because quite frankly, sometimes somebody else has done us wrong, particularly people who have been abused. Like that card can be downright offensive to them. It is not saying that you are responsible for your own abuse, but rather that if you are out of that situation, there comes a time to release the past and to move forward so that you can have peace, so that you can no longer be claimed by the past, so that your abuser no longer has sway in your life. And that's all that, like, if you're unhappy in the here and now after a difficult period of time, consider releasing the past so that you can be free of it. How do you release the past? You deal with what it's done to you and what you need to change in order to do better going forward. And it is difficult. It's a really easy sentence to say, and it's a really difficult thing to do. But most of us are up to the task if we view it that way. If we view it as like, here's the thing, when you say I release the past, somebody who hurt me, it no longer matters, and I forgive them, it can, when you're still in a lot of pain, that can seem like saying what you did didn't matter. That is not actually what it means. It means that what you did will not define me. I release that. I release the anger. I release the need for punishment sometimes. I release the pain so that I can heal. What you did was wrong, but I will not let it define the rest of my life. There we go. And is that in variance with forgiveness? Not really. Like forgiveness is a little bit about like releasing that negative energy from you. Is almost nothing to do with the other person, and instead having to do with peace, wholeness within, the ability to thrive and be happy again, despite somebody's intentional, sometimes injury of you. There we go. And we all want justice, but you know, the best revenge is living a good life, being happy in it. There we go. All right. Hello. I just happened to like for once turn my head and catch a comment. Here we go. All right, let's get going here. The Muse Tarot, 9 of Pentacles in the upright, independence, abundance, receiving. This is a personal power card as well. It is also the card of like, it's a nearly complete cycle. Since I have so many people who have been deeply into a healing journey, remember, this is one of the numbers that indicates that you're almost all the way through to the other side with the world and the cosmos in the upright. That's also a complete cycle card. I have the Knight of Wands and movement going forward, inspiration. 2 of Wands in reverse, Knight of Pentacles in reverse. 4 of Pentacles in reverse, Empress in reverse, Temperance in the upright, lots and lots of major arcana right in a row. the High Priestess in the upright. So the difference between the major arcana and the minor arcana, the major arcana is going to have things like, you know, Justice, Temperance, and the Empress, the things that have titles on them. Those are fateful forces at work in your life, whereas the minor arcana has a tendency to reflect things that we have the ability to change. Our future is actually like constructed of our choices. Our present is as well. And if you want a different outcome, making different choices is frequently the thing that will change a bad outcome in a reading. Not everything can be changed, though. If it is part of a life's path, part of a life's journey, we can't avoid it. You've got a lot of fate things there. 8 of Wands in reverse, with the Magician in reverse, the Star in the upright. 6 of Swords in reverse, 8 of Pentacles in reverse, 10 of Wands in reverse, King of Cups in the upright, 5 of Swords in the upright. That's a conflict card as well. 10 of Swords in reverse, Hanged Man in reverse, Fool in the upright. Lots and lots and lots of major arcana. 7 of Wands in the upright, 7 of Swords in reverse. That is a light code or an activation code. It took me a really long time to figure out that when I was getting a number in the upright and 1 in reverse. It is about essentially these mile markers that we are hitting along a journey. 2 Cups in the upright with the King of Swords in the upright. Wheel in reverse. Okay. Well, new love group, that is actually an indication of a new relationship trying to come to you. A new connection, a new cycle beginning as an old cycle ends. What have we got coming up here, though? Listen, next week is a little bit of a, it's like, I want to say it's stodgy energy. Like nothing, not a lot is happening. And like, it's not like you're going to be pushing super hard either. I think I forgot to put on my flight mode, which I'm going to do now. I keep getting a spam call. I apologize for the delay here. All right, we're back on airplane mode. It'll cause my entire computer to ring. So you've got this kind of like stodgy, difficult to move through energy next week. Try to relax and enjoy it. It's going to be a pretty temporary thing. You should be able to to access your psychic gifts a lot more easily when your life is a little less hectic. So remember those kind of pauses, the interrupted flow of things happening can give you an opportunity to align and to try and open your third eye. Your guides are apparently, once again, trying to bring you more information. Disappointment from a past source where they just didn't do what you wanted them to still has you blocking them out. They are bringing you, well, this sudden wealth card with the 9 of Pentacles in the upright is really a very good energy. More is coming to you. There is tremendous increase in multiple areas of your life, including in your personal life, which we haven't been saying that for a while. Observer and breathe. Listen, I am not sure why my collective just needs to tap into nature as much as they do. Ground, make sure that you're taking a good pause and ask to receive more guidance. You were in enough pain that you stopped trying to. And so it doesn't seem like you've been receiving much guidance. And when they try and communicate with you, it's a difficult energy. When they don't do exactly what you want, you take it as further evidence that nothing cares about you, nothing ever will. You still had to heal something pretty significant. And it was why, you are going to receive the things that you're hoping for and want. And the life that you are hoping for is trying to come to you. It couldn't come to you because you weren't healed. And that has been that is almost infuriating for you to hear at this point. Something couldn't reach you because you thought you were better and you weren't. Now you are. The external influence of Temperance in the upright. First of all, this is one of the Archangel cards. It's usually the Archangel Raphael, but it is about healing. It is divine timing. No, I'm sorry, that's the Justice card normally. It is also about balance. It's good flow. It is patience and it is peace. It is also that you have healed. The Empress in reverse is not a moment too soon. That is an energy of having to reclaim your joie de vivre, your enjoyment of life, your ability to think that there is a point to all of this, which you lost that plot over and over again, and it was really difficult for you. Keeping your commitments that card always confuses me when it comes out for this collective, because most of the people in this collective are responsible to the point that they will be dragging themselves through to fulfill a responsibility when more or less dead. Like, sincerely, the people in my collective have a tendency to be so responsible that they could be on the autopsy table. I didn't floss, and they'll remember, like, they'll try to get up and walk away from their own death to complete that responsibility. I'm clearly joking, but I'm also not. So whenever that keep your commitments comes up, please remember that can be as much to yourself as anything. For whatever reason, everybody in this collective, and clearly there's going to be somebody who doesn't, but largely it holds true, you will deplete yourself trying to fulfill your responsibilities over and over again. Like, you went through something so challenging, and you keep wanting, your impatience, which is related to your anxiety, which is contained in your root chakra, makes you want to say, oh, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed. Every time you feel that tiny little bit better, you're raring to go. And like, your guides just once again halt the progress slightly, reassess, take a slower pace, like, commit to it for a little while. And a little while does mean like 3 or 4 weeks. You do, like, you're not going to atrophy. You're not going to lose everything if you try and prioritize better care of yourself. There was something that went on in your life that was like giving blood almost every day. And you did it, and you did it, and you did it. That period has actually passed, and you're trying to come to a more settled energy, but some details around it still need to be firmed up. And you're a bit of a demon for work. You're a bit of a demon for accomplishing things, because you think you're going to get to an energy where you can finally go, oh, everything's settled, I can relax. Unfortunately, that is not how you are wired. So keep that part in mind. You do know that about yourself. Keeping that in mind, pause frequently. Pause frequently. The healing work that you did involved processing so much trauma, just so much trauma, that at points you were kind of questioning what was the point of being alive. And I'm not saying anybody was suicidal, and if you were, please always reach out for help. There's so much help available. But it's that dysphoric. It was that difficult. It went on for that long. It takes a while to recover. Like, you're sick of the word healing to the point that you're like, I think I'd rather be injured and just do stuff. Could that be okay? Not exactly. Not exactly, because you are an exceptionally powerful person. You will be more powerful still if you will allow yourself the rest that you need. You have some delays. You still do, on getting a couple of things into your life. And it's because you're trying to take too rapid of a pace. You're trying to get everything done in a short period of time, because you tell yourself, when I get everything done, then I will rest. Then I will have a life. Then I will enjoy things. Please, please, please stop putting off your enjoyment of life until you get things done. Because you are the type of person who will always have a list the length of my arm of what you think needs to be done. And I'm not scolding you. It's actually a really good trait. It really is. But it does mean that is why you have to take a very measured approach to when will I be resting? When will I be having fun? When will I be socializing? That is the keep your commitments as well. You're not good about that. You're not good about that. You have a tendency to isolate, to try and feel better. And the reason that you do that is not simply because you're an introvert. So, hey, the difference between extroversion and introversion is introverts find people draining. And I'm like the most introverted person you will likely ever meet, but people can't tell when they're talking to me because they think introverted means shy. And introverted only really means that you shore up your personal energy by withdrawing. Extroverts get their energy from other people. They love it. They find it invigorating. Most of the empaths and introverts that I know, they find it like they have to rest after a big party, because like people take a lot out of them because they give a lot of their personal energy. Because you don't rest enough, because you don't have enough leisure in your life, Like whenever you do have downtime, you're isolating too much. You're not trying to be friends with people. You're not trying to have more relationships. By the way, they're giving up. Like they understand that you can only push so hard and for so long on a particular issue. But they're trying to remind you that, like, okay, maybe you'll never be a social butterfly, but please try and enjoy another person's company occasionally. Like you started to have an aversion to people. Like you associated them with everything that hurt you. Not everybody hurt you. Not everybody is going to hurt you. There's a lot of good connection to have, and there's a lot of joy to have out of life. And you've been wondering for a while if it's always going to be like this, and it's already not like that. Like if you just want a very steady and like straight path. Yours is never going to be that steady and that straight. It will never be as steady and straight as you want. It will, however, have lots of good pauses in it if you will allow yourself to pause. What you're asking for is for your reality to take a shape that will be very unvarying so that you can rest adequately. That is why you want so little activity in your life. And the other solution to that would be making sure that you actually do things that are fun for you, that take care of you, read books, watch movies, and then you wouldn't, like on a regular basis, you're so responsibility focused that some days, all you do is work. All you do is work. You get up, you take care of chores, you take care of, and you're not joyless, but you're also like, you can't downshift. If you could do that, other people would not feel exhausting to you any longer, and more would enter your life and you would like it. But they understand that you're sick of being menaced with other human beings. You're just like, please leave me alone. Quit telling me that I need to change everything about me to be acceptable. You're wonderful. They want you to be happier. They're not trying to tell you to change anything about you. They want you to have a better existence. And they get that they have pressed too hard on like 3 different areas, and you have an adversarial relationship right now. Please reconsider. Everything's coming to you regardless. It just is, it's harder on everybody concerned. And as I'm always saying, angels are like, they've never been human, they never will be, but our spirit guides frequently have. And they can feel a form of distress. It's not the same, but it's like they also can like run out of like, what do we do? What do we do? We can't reach them. What do we do? All they're asking for is like, please consider that if you have had things thrown in your path, that it was only because it needed to take a different shape than you wanted it to. And since you were denied what you wanted for so long, like they've run out of vouchers with you. More is imminently coming to you every single day. It keeps trying to enter your life. But whenever you like see something that you're like, well, that might be nice, and then you start to try and like cautiously invest hope, like you're almost to the point that you're like cringing, like you're expecting to be hit every time that you try and get happy now on any level, because it's been that hard. And they're sorry. They're sorry. But once again, very recently, you got very, very, very focused on wanting this thing. And like, it wasn't the thing you were meant to have. And you became furious, just furious, because they won't let you have anything as far as you're concerned. They're trying to bring you so much, and it's coming to you either way. It's like they need a negotiation with you. They need a negotiation with you. So anyway, that's a lot on that particular energy, but let's see if there's anything that's coming up that you need to know about. Someone important to you is, oh, okay. There's someone who hasn't been in your life very much. It's somebody that you are connected to. It's been an echoing void of silence around you, and it's gone on long enough that they kind of don't know how to break the silence. They're trying to reach out to you in like every way that they can, and you should know who I'm talking about. Leave that door open. Leave that door open. They're just lost. They're just lost. And you actually are a compass for them. A lot's happening in your life. More people are coming into it, more expansion and growth. Don't let go of this quite yet. And it's not because quite yet doesn't mean you're going to. It's just be patient with yourself and with others. Everything you've gone through and how difficult it has been, remember, it has not been a path you've walked entirely alone. And your new beginning is on so many fronts, on so many fronts. They're trying to inspire you. They're trying to inspire you. I accept responsibility for for my well-being. You still need to rest. You overreact, and you kind of know it. Like you have a little bit of a disproportionate response to anything that goes wrong right now. And you're not a beast to other people, but like you really are, you're out of everything. You're out of everything, out of willingness to invest, out of patience, out of like, you're just out, you're running on empty. And they're trying to bring you absolutely everything that you asked for. But when like you keep focusing on these things that are borderline pathetic, and like you know it, but like that's how much you have scaled back on your expectations around your life. And then when they won't bring you the pathetic thing, like you absolutely lose your mind. And they're not scolding you, they're just saying like, but you know that's not good enough. Why are you so determined? And it's because you're not accurately assessing a situation. You're not. And it is, again, because you didn't get what you wanted. And so that's how you're defining everything in your life. I will just take this bargain basement clearance sale life rack. Like that's what you think you're getting out of life. And every time you're hearing this now, like you're getting angry at me because quite frankly, that's great, lady. Deliver something to me and I will start believing it. It's coming. It is coming. It's coming. Nothing ever happens as quickly as you want it to. And you don't understand that it's like that's part of your anxiety. You know they're there. You know they're there. Dragon's Lair. Oh, great. What's happening now? It's a peril card. What are we at risk of doing? Let's find out. I think you're at risk of really selling yourself short on what you're expecting out of life. And you can't be blamed for that because like it was a desert for a very long time. One Ring Circus. Oh, Spirit of Place. Balancing Act. Wide Open. Moonlight. Okay, I do know what that's saying. And it goes back to that, like defining your life by these, like if like you're just desperate to have something new in your life. And you're settling for it being just, like I said, just such a downgrade on absolutely everything. Listen, they're going to give you something that is a downgrade. They are, and it's not because it's what they had planned. It's because you're getting so angry that they won't give you what you think you want, that like they're like, okay, fine, you win on this one. You win on this one. Like, don't be surprised that like your world's going to be rocked a little bit around that, but you'll roll with it. You'll figure it out. But we give, you won. Like, because here's what I think happened very recently. You want out of this energy so badly, and you got very focused on something that is, if life is graded on a 1 to 10 scale, like what was coming to you was easily a 9 or a 10, and you got fixated on a 2. You got fixated on it as like, please, at least I'll have peace. And they wouldn't, they're like, no, that's not for you. That's not for you. And so it got ripped out from underneath you. And at that point, like you were like, that's it. I'm done. You will not give me anything. What am I supposed to do? Screw all of you. And they heard that. They heard that and they're like, fine, you can have a version of that. It's not going to last. It's not going to last. Like, but know that part. Know that part. It's just that like congratulations, you were so hurt that you scared your spirit guide team a little bit. And can that happen 100%? Because we can block things out. Part of how you ended up in such a traumatic instance, being so badly injured, was there was guidance and there was a lot of like, please, you're special, go do this, go do that. And you wouldn't listen. And it wasn't because you were being mulish, it's because you just didn't believe it. And so like something incredibly painful happened. And you wanted out of the painful energy so badly that as soon as the pain ended, you were like, I will go towards this number, like 2 or 3 on the scale of like 1 to 10 thing, and I will make the very best out of that. And when they wouldn't let you have it, it was like an explosion. Children, your love life is being affected by children. The situation involves marriage. You deserve love. Make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. So, all right, you're still dealing with releasing some issues from the past and trying to bring up your inner child. This whole thing where like you will accept the crumbs from the table of life and say, okay, that's my feast, that's what they're trying to heal you from. And you can't stop. You can't stop. So they're letting you have some crumbs, but they're unhappy about it because they had something better, and you won't believe it. You won't believe it. But they understand that they're so close to alienating you entirely that it's like, okay, take that. Like, you'll give it up soon. You'll give it up soon, but take it. The situation involves marriage, and then you deserve love. You are lovable. There's a lot of people in a divorce group in this particular collective as well. It could have to do with that. It also could have to do with what part of why they didn't want me to take that number 2 thing option is that there is a relationship trying to come into your life, and they're going to have to reroute some things to make sure that it gets to you. Is it with the person that you were hoping it was with? I actually believe so. And like, why would that stand in the way? Because the person is going to feel guilty about it. And I don't know why, but they will. They're going to feel guilty about this. Like, they know you deserve, like, there's no question in their mind, you deserve in the life grades, you deserve the 10, everything coming to you. And they're going to know that you're in a 2. And they feel responsible. And there is actually a reason. There is actually a reason. So another week of, please, can you try to take your ease occasionally, try to read a book or watch a movie or do something that is not just solely focused on, I just want to get to a calm and settled energy. You don't actually, what you want is a better life, and your life was too hard for too long. And you don't, like, you think you want this like tiny little existence, and it's because you're not entirely healed. But they're going to let you have this sliver, and they have to work around it pretty hard. But like, they're congratulations again, you out stubborn the divine, which happens with this particular collective. because you got so angry that they know they're this close to losing you. Okay, so group number 1, that was an interesting reading. That is usually one that comes in at 3 or 4. I'm not sure why they hop around like that. What happens with these kind of life patterns that we're living is that it really is almost like there's this repeating program. And we have a life path that has certain markers on it. And the reason that you can be in a collective and everybody has such a similar experience is that even though you're very unique, and so your consciousness and your viewpoint and the people who enter your life are unique, it's like a path that's carved out, and you're walking the same path with other people. And it's been a hard path. It's been a hard path. All right, that was group number 1. We're moving on to group number 2. Hopefully I'm not setting anything on fire, Insurance Agent John. All right, group number 2, your candle is green. It is a metallic green. Metallic candles are very good for attraction. I was working with some earlier, and I use a lot in love magic and in prosperity magic, and I just kind of felt like using these because I thought they were pretty. All right, very complicated reason. Your candle is anointed with wishing oil. Wishing oil. Trying to manifest things, trying to bring things into being. You have message. And revealing radiance, my light illuminates the world. It's the Gateway Oracle. I've just started working with it. I like it. All that glitters, come to the edge. The festival, create an energetic blueprint for a fantastic party or event. The vast universe, the sacred temple. Oh, dark mirror, forgetting oneself. Oh, I don't get this very often. This is our shadow work. There's 2 different meanings with this. It can be that you don't give enough to yourself, you give too much to other people. It can also not being true to yourself. Because this particular collective has so many people who are badly traumatized. Why are empaths so traumatized? Because we have a tendency towards going towards abusive relationships. Abusers find us, and then we have a very hard time leaving them because somebody else's feelings are too important to us because we feel them so deeply. Empaths have to learn how to be by themselves so that they can properly shield and protect themselves. Forgetting oneself is partially about not prioritizing your own needs. It can also be about trying to leave your past self behind too much. Your beliefs are right for you. That's always true. Be true to yourself. Oh, right in a row, right? Doubt. I release the need to know all the answers. Okay, so for people with empaths are also, and everybody in my collective, you're likely an empath. What I have are people being called to their life's purpose. If you've been drawn to me as a reader, you're in the middle of a spiritual awakening. It's why you got like shredded so badly as you tried to shed the past to step into the new. It like the long, dark night of the soul is almost over and you're going back towards connection. I need to know all the answers. Listen, we want to know everything. I'm a tarot card reader. People come to me, they want to know what's coming up. And we're not allowed to know as much as we want to. And it is because part of how we learn, part of how we evolve is to basically live our lives and take our chances sometimes. Come to the edge as that risk takers. You really would have spoiled the heck out of your own life if you could. Like you would have like at least 2 years ago, a year ago, 6 months ago, maybe yesterday, if somebody had given you a printout of then this will happen and that will happen, that like you would not care that you would be denied the joy of surprises and good things happening. You have stopped believing good things may happen. But the doubt card is like kind of turning a corner on that. Understanding that it's like, well, okay, nothing worked in getting the answers, so maybe I better chill and allow myself to live my life a little bit more and find the appropriate place for Tower and for predictive arts. Which is like, it's good to get clues, particularly if you're facing something difficult. It's good to get clues. It's good to get guideposts. Have more faith in yourself and you will reconnect more easily. Knight of Cups in reverse, frustration. 4 of Pentacles in the upright. When the cups are in reverse, too many things are flowing away from us and not enough to us. 3 of Cups in the upright. 6 of Wands in reverse. 9 of Swords in the upright. That's a fear and insomnia card. With the 9 of Cups in the upright, Queen of Pentacles in the upright, 3 of Swords in the upright, Judgment in the upright, 8 of Wands in the upright, 8 of Pentacles in the upright. So 9988, light code, light code. Page of Cups in the upright. Lots of good things though. 8 of Cups in reverse, the Tower in the upright, 4 of Cups in the upright, Strength card in the upright, 10 of Wands in reverse, the Fool in reverse, 9 of Wands in the upright, the Moon in the upright, 4 of Swords in the upright. I'm sorry, don't overinvest in that face. 2 of Wands in reverse, 5 of Swords in the upright, 2 of Swords in reverse. Okay, that was the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Let me see what is going on here. Hey, despite the fact that your anxiety is like on steroids again, they're like, you want a matter settled, like it's coming in pieces and like one small thing at a darn time. You're not sleeping as well as you need to, and your fears are dictating your choices a little bit too much. You're holding on to like everything that comes to you as tightly as you can because you're fearing loss a little bit too much. Understand more is like super, 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 super close in. The 9 of Cups is also a card of wish fulfillment. You actually are getting what you want in multiple areas. You're having trouble recognizing the beginnings of it because like you're very visual. You're able to envision things. You're able to see things like in this realm and in other realms. You trust in this realm pretty well, but sometimes you lose faith in your ability to connect to other realms. And what happens when you get all of those answers is you're super powerful and you start seeing what you want to have happen. And you're blocking things out. And this has been a message that keeps coming through. Whenever I say release attachments to outcomes, like very powerful people have such a hard time with that because we're used to making things happen. So how in the world do you release an attachment to an outcome and still be a person who can manifest all over the place? Don't be so attached to the details. Like, please don't. And like, well, how do you envision a life if you're not seeing the details of it? Because including a phrase that is very, 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 very easy to understand, this or something better, in everything that you're thinking, everything that you're envisioning, I will have this or something better. That leaves the door open on relationships, on increases, on jobs, on everything. If you are able to say this or something better, then that creates that flexibility around it. And saying things starts wearing a groove into our ability to believe them. So start incorporating that into a practice. May I have this or something better? This or something better. And that way you are allowing the universe some room to move and to maneuver and to bring you what you're asking for. Your wishes are right there. Your fears are blocking them out. And that rigidity in thinking is actually fear-based. Control is actually fear-based because you fear things that you're not controlling. So try to release the need to control and more will come to you more easily. Queen of Pentacles in the upright this can be an earth sign. It doesn't have to be, but this is somebody who can manage all areas of life, the personal, the practical, the romantic. This is frequently a nurse because they're able to nurture, but also really get things done. This is one of the cards that's called a wifey card because that is somebody who has it all. These are cards that are suggesting that despite your fears, more is coming to you. That 3 of Swords in the upright can be COVID. It can be divorce. It can be heartbreak. It can be surgery. It's not a great card. It is the external influence there. It doesn't mean your heart's about to be broken. If anything, it looks like your heart's about to be gladdened quite a bit. 2 8s right in a row, movement, progress, mastering, message. Your hard work is bringing you something And it's not just hard work in like a practical sense, in a job, in a vocation. It is the hard work that you have been doing in your spirituality. Like everything is starting to come to you. Please, 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 please. But here's the thing, you have I'm laughing because I do this too. You do envision things down to the details. When you hear the please release attachments to outcomes, you try, but when things don't happen, you are like, you despair. You despair. Like something really, really, really hurt you. And like now, like it's like like your nerve endings are right at the very top of your skin. And if anything so much as brushes against you, you're howling in pain. Like you're like, even the tiniest disappointment is crushing to you right now, because like hope feels like a giant risk to you. Hope feels like a giant risk to you. And they're trying to heal you more. More and more is entering your life, and this is very, very soon. Please, 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 please allow it. Like your need to control sometimes keeps out good things. Like if somebody's been telling you forever that maybe you should write a book, maybe you should write a book. If somebody's been telling you maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that, and keep hearing it from other areas, spirit guides talk to us through other people all the time. They do. And you have such a hard time accepting that good things can be yours. And it's not that you think you're a bad person. I think you actually know you're a very good person. But you don't think that you don't think anything loves you in the divine. Like you think it's there for other people, but you don't think it's there for you. And that you're just a little afflicted in this life, and all you can try and do is get all the way through it, trying to be the best version of yourself that you can be. That's not actually what's happening. This tower with the Four of Cups in the upright, try and keep in mind that like disappointment, that just means that something else is coming to you. That just means that something else is coming to you. And they understand that it better get a move on. Like that they get that part. Like they understand that like they've taken away one too many things, and now you're just starting to collapse under the weight of how much has been taken away. And they are trying so very, very hard to like communicate with you, to let you know no more is coming, please. And you're closing down pretty hard. That is not going to change the fact that there are people entering your life in the next 2 weeks, and it is multiples. One comes through a friend. They will be communicating with you. They're going to ask you about something. It is an offer. Your first inclination is, of course, going to be that I can't do that. No, thank you. Because it involves human beings, and you try to avoid human beings as much as possible at this particular point. You didn't always, but you do right now. It will work. Believe in yourself. You actually can do this. You are more than capable. And it is a very sincere offer. It is a very sincere offer. It sounds like it's a bit of a pipe dream. And so like, you'll just be like, haha, that's nice. Thank you. And like releasing attachments to outcomes isn't just about rigidity around what will happen. It's that you don't believe that a lot's coming. You don't. Like you don't. And please release that attachment to that outcome, where in order to avoid any more pain, you have started viewing your life in a smaller and a smaller focus. And that's the outcome that they're like, please, we get it. We get it. Like, we get it. Like, there's a reason that you feel that way. There's a reason. There's multiple reasons. There's a lot of reasons. There's years worth of reasons. There's so much success. You overcame so much. beautiful things can still enter your life. And it's not that they won't, unless you like start believing in them. They'll come in either way, but you'll have trouble trusting them. And that means that you won't enjoy them as much. Create an energetic blueprint for a fantastic party or event. There's, like I said, there's something, an offer coming to you from another person, and it's not even that you lack faith in yourself. It is that you lack faith in the point of trying sometimes. Your stress level's going down. You're making a mistake around something. What is it? What is that? The sacred temple, the vast universe. The thinking woman, blossoming abundance. You're really, really, really afraid to take a chance. Door to romance. Yeah. Okay. So the other like rigidity around your outcomes has to do with like, and by the way, if you're happily paired up, and whenever this happens, it's always going to be true. If you have a partner and the message starts containing something about how you're hoping for a person that's not there, that means that's the end of the part of the message that was for you. Like there are multiple people with any group, and there is a group in this particular pile that you have started to shut down around the concept of having another person in your life. And it is not for a good reason. It is because you don't want to take the risk of anybody hurting you again. Like you're doing it for emotional safety's sake. And somebody is trying to enter your life through a friend. They are. And you are like, you won't entertain the idea. My light illuminates the world. You don't have to have any relationship that you don't want to, but I think you've reached the point of believing that there's no point in them. Like you don't think that love's real anymore. Love is real. Love is real. You've had a really, really hard time. And the love that was in your life, your love was real, and the other person's was not, because they're not capable of it. They're not. They're broken at a fundamental level. Please don't let them define love like that for you, for other people. Like there's somebody you love that you're shutting off too. Like you're shutting off oh God, flirt. I hate this card. Like I'm sure that's very telling of me. But attraction, you attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully, and flirt. Extend your lighthearted energy to others. Listen, that can be sharing your light with others. I like, unless I'm in a relationship with somebody, I don't like people to flirt with me, like sincerely. And I don't actually flirt. People think that I can be, because I'm very outgoing. When I'm around other people, they can think I'm flirting, and it's gotten me into all kinds of trouble because of that. Like I'm on the receiving end of attention that I don't want because of it. And so that's why I have such a negative reaction to that. But realistically, all that flirting is being open with your open energy. Make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. You are closed off and closed down, and it is understandable, but there is actually a new human being who wants to be a part of your existence, and you're defining them by somebody else. Like you're not going to even want to get to know them. When's that coming up? super soon, like super soon. Like all of these messages are between 1 to 4 weeks. Gosh, I'd put that within the week. Normally it's like when it's something close in, I'll hedge my bet and say 10 days. There's something very, very close. You're going to want to lock it away and not acknowledge it because you think all relationships are pointless. And they're not. And they don't have to last forever to be fun. Like maybe this is somebody who wants to take you out 3 times and remind you how much fun it can be to actually date and be around other people. And you do it that way. Like you don't. Like if somebody like asked you out to dinner tomorrow, like and you were able to go and you went, like you'd be assuming that they had really, really unpleasant motives. You don't realize it, but that has to do with a former person. Okay, I'm moving on to pile number 3. I'll edit in timestamps after the description, after the broadcast today. It may be a little bit later. I'm super sorry. There's still something for group number 2. Don't discard everything. Don't discard everything. Like, don't discard everything. You're trying to get rid of something from your life that still belongs there. It's a material thing. It's a material thing. It's a material thing. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you're like trying to become a minimalist or what the heck is going on, but like you're going to have some regrets. Slow down. Slow down on discards. Slow down on discards. That's what it was. Okay. Now I'm moving on to pile number 3. Oh, I didn't put out my table tents for any of this. Sorry. Count the candles. that works as well. I have come and see me, and your candle is anointed with I'm sorry, it's anointed with come and see me, and the candle is purple, which is one of the colors for domination and for healing. That rattled me just a little bit. Like when they get really like insistent about, wait, no, there's more, one more thing. As I'm moving on, it can really rattle me. But we're in pile number 3 now. I guess I can go ahead and late date do the table tents. 3. Okay, let's get your oracle cards out here. Why'd I have heart such time? Remember that? I don't know. Wealthy man. That's good. That's abundance. I have planting seeds. Seeds of grace are being planted in the fertile soil of my soul. We are like, hey, everyone who's been like, put through the ringer and ground up like hamburger, like we're on the other side, and next comes the reattachment and the reawakening and that feeling of connection. It does follow a period of feeling like you're desolate, alone, that like maybe there's no God, like no divine. I'm only laughing because like it's horrible, and like it's easier to laugh at something than to start crying. And it's a fairly horrible feeling, but it really is almost over. Discovery. Oh, what's going to happen now with teacher? Obsession. A lot of people with PTSD have a form of OCD. Be careful around that. Like these soothing patterns, like can block things out as well. Possess self-confidence. Grieve your losses and then try to let them go. All right. Self-esteem. Oh, geez. Self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. Possess self-confidence with self-esteem, and then seeds being planted in your soul. Well, that's a little repetitious. No, I don't look at any of these beforehand, and they are all random draws. Come and see me, huh? Fairy magic. Time for the regular lesson with this. Respectfully work with the fairies and elementals to achieve your goals. I beg of you, do not summon fairies unless you know what you're doing. I don't. I have a feeling I have worked with fairies, but like I'm so super respectful of how powerful they are that I would never invoke them on purpose. What this does mean, however, is that there is magic in life that is available and trying to enter your life. Apparently, like you need to remember to be confident that you can take risks to bring increase into you. Discovery and teacher, huh? Message in a bottle. And then time for a nap. Time for a nap, message in a bottle. After a period of rest and reflection, you have been discovering your true power again. Please don't forget, you actually have things to offer other people. Oh gosh, I forget how big this deck is. Actually, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do the traditional shuffle because it's very stiff. It's fairly new. And like my hands barely fit around it. Oh my goodness. All right. Trouble with cards, my friends. Okay, let's get going. File number 3. This is a beautiful deck, but it is a bit on the large side, and like it's very, very stiff cardstock, which can be good, but right now shuffling it is clearly something that's nearly beyond me. Shuffles beautifully like this, but it's the traditional shuffle where you would technically bridge. This thing's not bridging. Like you could like float this on and use a paddle. It's very, very firm. It's a craft, not a card right now. What's going on here? 2 more times. 4 swords in the upright. Time for a nap. 4 swords in the upright. That is rest and rejuvenation. I have the Prince of Wands in the upright. Oh, action after a period of rest. King of Cups in reverse, the Devil in the upright. So the King of Cups in reverse, that's my card for a narcissist. But it doesn't always mean that. It can be a lack of emotional satisfaction or a need to nurture yourself that you are not respecting. It can be emotionally withholding and emotional repression as well. Devil in the upright, of course, can be a Capricorn. It's more often an abuse of something, an addiction, obsession, and then the Devil in the upright. Okay. I have the Hierophant in reverse, 7 of Pentacles in reverse, 8 of Swords in the upright, 3 of Pentacles in the upright, King of Pentacles in the upright. Prince of Pentacles in the upright, the Moon in reverse, Queen of Swords in reverse. Okay, good. Justice in reverse, Ace of Pentacles in the upright, the Emperor in the upright. Okay. The Hanged Man in the upright, Ace of Swords in reverse, 2 of Cups in reverse, Knight of Wands in the upright, 2 Swords in reverse, Princess of Cups in the upright, and then 10 of Cups in the upright. Well, that's good. Oh, 3 Swords in the upright. I'm leaving that guy out simply because it may have something to do with something that's coming up. But I kind of don't feel like it did. All right, group number 3. After a period of healing, things are beginning to happen again. Don't let the influences of the past have too much sway in your life. In the coming weeks, there's a lot of work to be done with somebody that you have collaborated with in the past. The way they see you is actually accurate. You kind of don't think it is. Like they think you're pretty remarkable, and in your heart of hearts, you have trouble accepting that. You are not going to fail at what they are proposing. Allow yourself to go forward into a new energy. It will bring you increase. It is a collaboration with somebody. I know I just stalled really, really hard. It's because there's multiple cards of actions being taken around inspiration that will bring you happiness. And it does look like it is leading you towards a partnership of a romantic nature. You may have somebody who's trying to invest in you, like actual, like, hey, I think you should expand. I think that you can do this. I think that there's like, they're offering you something and it's hard for you to take. It is a collaboration. They're not trying to be a partner with you. They're trying to help you. They're trying to help you break free of a self-doubting energy. And you have a really hard time with that because like half of you believes, yeah, there's something different and special about me. But for the most part, you've been involved with narcissists throughout like your entire existence. One of your parents was likely one. And it undermined your ability to have any true self-esteem, because narcissists, if a narcissist is displeased with you on any level, they're very, very, very punishing to people. And like, not necessarily in a like, I will beat you down type of way, but they will tear you down. And that started happening to you when you were like very small. And it can be very difficult for you to actually ever, like, self-esteem is like, it's scary to you. Like, if you start feeling good about yourself, because so many of your relationships have involved narcissists, as you tried to repair your formative damage by going towards relationships with others, you went toward a series of relationships that reminded you of the narcissist or narcissists who damaged you so deeply that you have no faith in your own ability. The person entering your life who wants to, like, they want to see you succeed, and they don't have an agenda. They don't. They're just a good person. They're just a good person who thinks you're really special. And like, they kind of know what horrible things have happened to you. And they don't pity you. And it's not pity, and you hate pity. Like, you genuinely hate it. It's not about pity. It is about encouragement. Like, they're trying to connect you with something that will allow you to truly finally see yourself the way you have always been, but that somebody else kept like blocking your vision on. Try to let them. It does have to do with work and earthly security. It does actually lead you to the relationship, the romantic relationship that you have hoped for. And once again, if you are already paired up, that simply means that part isn't for you. But there are a lot of people who are searching for another person, having recovered from or been trying to recover from most likely codependency, because it forms around relationships between narcissists and empaths so easily. And you really, like, you go back and forth at this point. Do I want a person? Do I not want a person? Do I just want to live on a deserted isle and, like, you know, have like a bird collection and many pets and like hopefully never see another person? And hoping that, like, in a tiny corner of your heart, maybe there's a human for me. There's a human for you. That human is like close, and it's within the next couple of months, if that long. It does involve you being willing to allow this expansion that is being brought to you by an encouraging person. All you're being asked to do is to stop and consider what really happens whenever you try. What really happens? How often have you really failed? You haven't. Mostly what has happened is that you talk yourself out of trying a lot. Like, you're good at, you have foresight. And so you're good at like looking down a road and like, well, this could happen, that could happen. And then your obsession, your OCD, likely based in PTSD, starts you creating all of the things that could go wrong. And then you become paralyzed and you don't act because you have had your self-esteem torn down from the day you were born. And you doubt yourself. If somebody tells you you're wonderful, you're marvelous, you're special, you're a gift, like, it's not that you're a jerk about it. You'll say thank you. You think they're very sweet. Like, it's so cute that they see you that way, but you also think that they're wrong. And they're not. Allow this friend, allow this person to start bringing more into your life. They don't expect anything in return. And you're having a really hard time with that, because you're used to, like, somebody in your life was actually just not a good human being, and they almost always had an agenda whenever they did anything nice. This particular person does not. They are simply somebody who wants to right the wrongs. Let's get some more energy cards on that. And they're trying to help you. And again, it's not because you're pathetic. It's because they can see that you're treading water in self-doubt. And so they're trying to reach in and grab you and pull you out and say, stand here, take this opportunity, and see what happens with it. And it's hard for you, because it means that to do that, you're going to have to admit, maybe I could succeed. And you have a hard time with that, because that's what you're very convinced you can. Angel of Strength, journey, door to personal healing and happiness. Financial constraints, the thinking man, anxiety, a woman holding a coin. Financial constraints with anxiety is that fear of failure more than anything. You are not going to end up living in a Kenmore box underneath an underpass. Like that's how far your anxiety can take things. Like, if I don't do well, if I don't succeed, then like there's ruination for me and I will be living in a tent village. You're not going to be. You're not going to be. Please just try to invest in the concept that you can have and do more. And there's a real love for you in this world. There is a real love for you in this world. It is part of what is being offered to you. It's like, is it somebody you already know? It could be. It always could be. But it's somebody who's trying to enter your life when you're allowing increase. Playfulness to recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. Children, your love life is being affected by children. It is being affected by your formative damage. That person who tore your self-esteem down to the studs over and over again, they made you believe you're not lovable. And you're a very, very, very lovable person. You're about the only person who doesn't know it. Have a little faith in yourself, take a little risk. Will you skip that relationship altogether if you want? No, the universe will arrange it somehow anyway, because that's a fated thing. Your guides are just, they want you to be happier. They just want you to be happier. Love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive, and then true love. What does self-respect have to do with all of this? Well, here's the thing. Because somebody hurt you on purpose for their own, from their own damaged place, you didn't really believe that you have worth. And when you don't believe that you have worth, you don't actually respect yourself very much, and you don't treat yourself very well. And unfortunately, that means that you allow partners to stay in your life who are not earning their place beside you. Love, romantic love, is not meant to be unconditional. That's a no. That's what leads to abuse. Is there unconditional love in this world? Absolutely. But unconditional love does not mean unconditional access. And you can love somebody and know, listen, you're an addict, or you're engaging in self-punishing behaviors, or you're punishing towards me, and I will always love you, but I can't allow you in my life. That's the only place that unconditional love has in a romantic relationship. Romantic relationships are meant to be conditional on, if you treat me properly and I treat you properly. If we treat each other with respect, we honor and we nurture our love together. It is a symbiotic type of love that only flourishes and grows if it is treated properly. If it isn't, it turns toxic and it starts poisoning the people involved. And that is why unconditional love has no real place in a romantic situation. You can love somebody unconditionally in a romantic sense, but if they're not treating you properly, if they're not in any way providing for your emotional needs as well, they don't actually have a right to be your partner. And holding space for them keeps the real partnership away as well. So just consider that. Sometimes it's appropriate to say, I do love this person to the very core of my soul, but they're not in the time, in the space, they're not ready, they're not healthy. And if they're not treating themselves properly, they're not going to treat me properly either. I do love them, but I love me. And so that is how, the unconditional love means the love remains, but the access shouldn't. And unconditional love does not really have a place in romantic relationships. And I know that is not the most popular thing to say, particularly in a twin flame dynamic, when people are in separation, they're waiting and they're waiting and they're waiting for somebody who's often off, doing their own work and not treating them properly. And the reason to release that person and to move beyond them, even if it means they never catch up with you, is because you have to have a standard for your treatment in relationships in order to have healthy and flourishing ones. You have a standard for how you treat other people. Your self-respect would mean that you have a standard for how you will be treated. And if somebody does not meet it, then you will not reserve space in your life for them. And that's all that means. Okay, so pile number 4, I'm moving on to pile number 4. I was getting nervous for pile number 3. I'm like, sooner or later, somebody is going to accost me in public with like a rotten vegetable from all the things that I have to tell pile number 3. I'm not sure why that pile always has so many conflicts. It's not always the same group of people. All right, pile number 4, we are moving on to your reading. Timestamps will be edited in after the broadcast. I don't know if I'll get to it immediately. What time is it? Oh, I might get to it immediately. If I don't, they'll be up by about 4 hours after the broadcast. All right, let us go on to pile number 4. Your candle is that metallic green. Metallics are very good for attracting things. Green is great for prosperity. It is good for growth. It is also the color for the heart chakra. It is new beginnings, and your candle is anointed with psychic intuition oil. Let's get your oracle cards first. Kipper Oracle brings us despair. Oh, goody. I wonder where that's going. Letting go. I surrender joyously to the ebbing and flowing of life. And I make a face that, like, I'm sure indicates how I feel about letting go sometimes. Yin and no place like home. I don't like the concept of surrender because surrender is misinterpreted to mean that okay, I'll just whatever, I'll be guided to do what I'm not meant to take actions. I'll be guided to do what I'm supposed to do. That's not what that means. It means that you surrender to the idea that the divine is doing things purposefully in your life. And with your permission, your higher self is just you. It is just you. It is the part of you that came here with kind of a lesson plan for your life. And the divine is working in conjunction with that. Half the things that are just horrifying to us, when they say that happened for your highest good, it means that the part of you that is always connected to the divine is like, yeah, no, that's what we're doing this lifetime. You're not taking it well, but that's what we're doing this lifetime. And that's what surrender means, is that if fighting with every piece of your being, every molecule that you possess, has not yielded what you want, instead of giving into despair, consider saying, I maybe I just don't really understand what's going on, but things have a tendency to work out eventually. I'm going to put effort in, but I'm going to quit fighting. I'm going to quit fighting against what is trying to enter my life, what is trying to be in my life, what is trying to be brought to my attention. That's what surrender means. And the reason I make such a weird face around it is, like, if you've had a lot of trauma in your background and you've had to go towards healing, healing is it's a fight sometimes. And so surrender seems it seems like it's contradictory. It's actually not, because surrender is not the same thing as being passive. You can still be very actively participating in something and surrendering to the fact that there's a plan. There's a plan. Not everything is part of the plan. Sometimes we make things worse by clinging to things that we're supposed to let go of, but the divine is never torturing us on purpose. And sometimes things happen to us because other people make bad choices and we don't let go of them, or we're in their path, and not everything is divinely guided. But the overall path of your life is, when things go wrong and somebody else screws up your trajectory, what happens is the divine comes in with, it's like, oh, okay, we need a detour. We need to reroute that. You go do that. You go do that. We get hold of it, and tries to steer you again. And that is why you can have such terrible things happen to you and think it's like, that's part of a divine plan. It's actually not. The things that happen afterwards that try and put you back on the path but a lot of the stuff that is just heinous that happens to us is because other people have free will, and so do we. And sometimes we're really we have a hard time not doing things that we know are bad for us, including sometimes holding on to relationships or jobs or situations that it's like, well, this is horrible, but maybe if I just keep clinging to it, it'll get better somehow. The sun, the golden energy of the sun brings fame and fortune. I like that as a turn of place. We have professional assistance and peace. Sacrifice, focus on the positive, reach for the stars, balance. I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. All right, this is all about surrender. And like the face I made on focus on the positive is, hey, sometimes like the positive gets so meager in a life that it's like, it really is down to, this is a great sandwich and it can be so challenging to invest in. And the reason that I kind of roll my eyes on that is that it's a lot easier to focus on the positive when new things are coming in that are positive. But every single moment of every single day contains something that if you choose to direct your energy towards it, it will contain things that will make you happy. Like my dogs are the cutest creatures on the face of the earth. Oscar just had a bath the other day, so he's like a giant teddy bear, which, by the way, bathing that dog is always hilarious. I come home drenched and needing to shower afterwards because like he's a challenge. Like he holds still, but he's big and he's very, very furry. But afterwards, delightful, delightful, delightful to cuddle. And like, that's one of the focus on the positive things. Should I focus on the fact that like even my shoes need a day to dry off after I take him to the place where he gets bathed? Or should I focus on the fact that like for at least a week afterwards, it's like having a teddy bear that's like happens to be Oscar shaped? After my shoes are dry, it's usually a lot easier to focus on the part where I get really good cuddles from him. All right, here we go. Sorry, I'm being a tiny bit goofy. Here we go. Let's get going for pile number 4, Psychic Intuition Oil. Yin and no place like home, professional assistance and peace. I want to see what comes out for this. Page of Cups in reverse. Disappointment. 3 of Cups in the upright. 9 of Swords in reverse. Ace of Cups in the upright. As usual, just such a beautiful, beautiful deck. You're having trouble focusing on the positive. And it is because like that whole sacrifice thing, letting go of something that you want has been like it's all you've been asked to do over and over and over again. Like reassessing and like, oh, well, I don't get this that I wanted. I don't get that I wanted. And apparently like the things that I want just won't come to me. And that's not actually what's happening. Like there's actually a lot of really good stuff. It's just because it didn't take a form that you wanted, you have trouble viewing it as being good. The star in the upright is hope and dreams coming true with the King of Wands in the upright. I have the High Priestess in the upright. High Priestess is secrets, intuitive gifts as well. 9 of Pentacles in the upright. That's independence. It's abundance. It's actually a very good energy. It's like having the bounty of life available to you. 7 of Swords in reverse with the Hermit in the upright. 7 of Wands in reverse. The Lovers in the upright. Page of Pentacles in the upright. King of Pentacles in reverse. The Moon in reverse. 9 of Cups in the upright. 6 of Swords in the upright. 10 of Wands in reverse. 8 of Pentacles in the upright. 2 of Swords in reverse. 9 of Pentacles in reverse. 6 of Wands in reverse. 10 of Swords in reverse. Oh, cool. 6 of Swords in reverse. Sacrifice. Okay. Well, like the pause there just made it sound like something dire's on the table, and it's not. I was just contemplating how many sacrifices you've actually had to make with the despair card as well. You didn't just lose like, oh, that little dream didn't come true, and that like your whole life. Absolutely everything that you had hoped would be is like, it's not going to be the shape or the form that you had hoped it had been. And it did cause you to despair. And it did cause you to lose just over and over again. And having cleaned out all of the closets of your life and having all this space available because of so much loss, there's a lot coming in to fill that. And as things come in, you have like to keep yourself from being in pain. You don't allow yourself to enjoy things very much. because you just, everything got stripped away from you. As part of like this week's theme is apparently, hey, everybody's in a spiritual awakening, and there is this period of disconnection and feeling bereft and lost and abandoned, and you're coming out of that. But it was such a difficult period that it was such a difficult period that you kind of, there's just been a disconnect around something. There's just been a disconnect around something when it comes to focus on the positive. Like there hasn't been like anything that is personally positive for you. And I mean that on like an emotionally fulfilling level. And it's not because you're missing stuff. It's not. But now everything that you lost is trying to come to you in a different shape and form. And you won't let it. You won't let it. And you're doing so because like you're that despairing energy. You're holding things at bay and taking a bleaker outlook on things than is necessary. And like nothing they can say will make you take a different outlook. And that doesn't really change anything. But you're denying yourself just everything. You're denying yourself happiness. You had some friends disappoint you, and now you won't try to make friends. You had a relationship that hurt you, and now when you envision your future, you think you're going to be alone, and you are not. Like you're not. Like, first of all, more friends are coming to you. There's a change, there's a shift, this professional assistance, it does have something to do with your work life. You won't invest in anything any longer. You won't invest in friendships. You won't invest in daydreams. You won't invest in the concept of the future. Like you've taken this like live in the moment thing to an extreme that has to do with there is no point in believing in anything beyond this moment. And if I care about something, all that will happen is that it will be taken away from me. And again, this is a situation you cannot be blamed for, but please, like if it would help, go and look up what the stages of a spiritual awakening. That was a stage. It's not the rest of your life. And as things are trying to increase and there's more trying to come to you, you won't let it. Like you are like you're clinging to, you insisted on something that is a big downgrade in your life, and you wouldn't listen. Like you wouldn't take the risk, you wouldn't invest in yourself. And when they tried to prevent you from taking this big downgrade, like it was the proverbial last straw. Everything will still come to you, but please keep this in mind as this becomes clear over the next 2 months. That was not necessary. They were not trying to hurt you. They were trying to encourage you to go towards more. You won't. They know that. Like they know that. They know that. You need more proof. They're bringing you more proof. Healer of the ages. Door to value, goddess of the moon, yin yang, appreciation. Oh, wow. More and more this healing is coming to you, including a lot more money. There is an increase in your professional setting. You're going to have a far more balanced life. You're going to like your life a lot more. This is a gradual process that has already begun. As I said, you will not invest in it. Like you won't invest in it. And when they tried to force the issue, they almost broke you. And so they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. But like I said, about 2 months from now, it is going to be very, very, very clear that you did not need to downgrade that much. And will there be a way of extracting yourself from that? Probably. Probably. You might not, because it's going to take a while before you trust that the things that are coming to you are going to be kept by you. But it is going to become increasingly, glaringly, obviously clear that that part was not necessary. And you did it anyway. This sacrifice, you did it anyway. Reach for the stars like that you would not do. You couldn't believe it. It took too long. It took too long. Please look up the spiritual awakening. Even the despair was part of it. And the concept of things being fair is so important to you. Like, you try and treat people as kindly as possible, and you really invest in justice. And like, the whole concept behind a spiritual awakening is like, well, that's not fair. That's not right. It's not right to, it's like, you consider it a form of abuse. That, like, if everything is stripped away and you're left with confronting, like, who am I? What am I connected to? Like, you just convinced yourself that the divine is an abusive partner. And it's just because you haven't seen, like, what comes next. You really, you will invest again. You're in such a bereft state that it just feels safer to you not to. Watch that, because you are filtering out, like, really, really lovely things, because, like, you have convinced yourself that you just don't get to have them. Very soon, clearly decide what you want so that it can come to you now. Let go of control issues, allow the situation to unfold naturally. That is a giant challenge for you, because the way things unfold naturally, you can't stand it. You cannot stand how long everything takes. And it's not because you're being a jerk, and it's not because you're being impatient. It's because, like, COVID caused a problem. And so something legitimately, and this is a bit of, like, I feel like a broken record on this, it caused a problem and you lost faith. And now that things are moving again, like, your faith is so damaged. Like, your faith and your ability to invest in the concept that anything is loving or kind in this world is, like, it's not just dented, it's like it went through one of those car crushers. And they're trying to, like, hammer out the dents and like reinflate everything. But it involved what felt like risk to you, and you just won't do it. They're working with that. They're going to continue to work with that. And, like, it's weird, because do they completely understand this and know us? Yes. But do they sometimes misgauge things? Yes. Because these are not living beings, and they don't understand, even if angels have never been human, but spirit guides frequently have. And they forget how painful things can be for empaths, because pain is like an idea to them versus something they truly feel. Now, they do have a form of feeling, and it can be hurt. It does. But it's a completely different structure. And you suffered too much. You suffered too much. And they understand that part. And they tried to, like, encourage you to invest in, but things will get better from here. Take a chance, take a risk, be expansive. And you were like, oh, hell no. I am not setting myself up to be punched in the face by you again. And that's not what was happening. They didn't do the vast, vast, vast majority of what happened. They worked as hard as they could to make things as good as they could. and they understand that it was not enough. And they are working around your risk profile. Just kind of like prepare, just prepare. There's a lot that's trying to knock on your door. And because you're traumatized, like most of the time you hide when like somebody knocks on the door at this point, and not because you're a coward, it's because like legitimately, like you can't take anymore. And unfortunately, knowing that you can't take any more pain is also the thing that is preventing increase in coming to your life, because unfortunately, it does involve some risk. It does involve allowing expansion, is like opening a door and being like, what's going to come through that? And you're to the point of, I need a deadbolt. I would like one of those security frames. Hey, if we could get like a Rottweiler who's ravenous to guard the front of the door, that would be great. Spray all visitors with bacon perfume so that like they really can't get any closer. And and you're doing that because like you reached a threshold. And as your spirit guides are trying to work with like, oh, okay, listen, that went worse than we wanted it to, but everything's changing now. Prepare, yay. And you're like, I don't know. No, 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 no. They're working with that. They're working with that. It's just that so many things are coming to you right now. And just be aware, let them in. Just try to let them in. You can be protective of yourself, but allow more to come to you. That was wishing oil. Oh, I get it. All the things that you were trying to make manifest that wouldn't are manifesting now. And because it took too long, like you're not allowing them to come to you. Try to open up, try to be expansive. That professional assistance and peace. In this instance, like the professional assistance is like there's more coming to you in a like monetary success. And it involves just the tiniest bit of believing that things can get better. Work on that, meditate, and ask for the divine to enter your heart, your mind, and your soul to allow you to believe again. And even saying that, like, you're like, I don't want to do that. Last time I did that, it hurt so much. They hurt me so much. I thought I would die. And they like over and over again, please, they actually did not do that to you. They were the ones working really hard to undo it. And try to make that distinction. If you look at the source of the pain, it had to do with the choices of other people around you and sometimes yourself. And it did have to do with ignoring guidance. And they're not blaming you, but they're asking for, please consider that because you're blaming us. And now we can't bring anything to you. All right. So that was the Spirit Guide Weekly for this week. More is coming to you. Don't allow it. Allow it. Take the risk to be hopeful again. Like it's a new season. There were a bunch of, throughout the whole week, there have been so many light codes, like when they get one in the upright, one in reverse, like that is a download code. And it has been all over the place for the last 2 weeks, and particularly this week. Allow that expansion and that ascension and that increase, because it's here anyway, and you just don't want to be re-traumatized by things as they change. Take care. Be well.